All right, good morning and welcome. I'm a few minutes running behind on our schedule tonight. There is Cheryl. She is here. Look at that. That is actual greatness. Hey Cheryl. Hey Samina. I stepped away.
Oh,
I've been on since 4:30, but I totally forgot this 7:30. So
okay.
I had it all prepped. It was up. It was ready. Let me get Tiff on the line.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. Cheryl, I was about to message you. Is everything
Yeah,
okay? Or is it you?
yeah.
Or is it me? I do have a wrong
I
link, or
was
what's
just
going
gonna like
on?
talk about like commitment. So it's all good. It's all good. Marty's here and Oana. So this is commitment. Look at when you get into a routine, which is what I really think 90% of remote work success is all about. It's all good. Just Tuesday mornings now, I have calls from 4:30 a.m. onwards. So I was just making my son breakfast.
Gosh.
Like, oh my gosh, 7:30. I kept thinking 7:30. I've got to do something. I've got to anyways, I am here. Let me bring open
Okay.
our notes for today because today is all about project management. So I'm hoping in our this is actually mapping to day 24 of the guide. What I hope that you can think about and bring to mind as I'm pulling up the slides for today is a project that you have on the go. Think about a project you have on the go, and we're going to do a bit of a litmus test to see, is this really a project? Again, this week's theme is learning by doing. So it's not just enough to think about something, it's about getting into action. So project management, whether it is building out your content plan for 2021, whether it is launching a new program, whether it is developing a new on-ramp for your own clients, project management is all about what we call the triple constraint. So does anyone know what the triple constraint is? No? Anyone heard of it? So triple constraint is a really key fundamental of project management. Like the triangle that I love so much, draw a triangle because any project needs to be in scope. So in time, budget, and scope. 3 arms: time, budget, scope. And the project manager's guiding principle really is that if our time window is going to change. So if I think I'm going to roll out this program in 3 weeks, I've assigned a budget and a scope to it. The project is going to be $10,000. We've got 3 weeks to do it. And the scope is we are going to have 4 modules within that time together. As we go, it is key to really think about how you are going to be doing that within the window. Now, all of a sudden, I have a request that, in fact, the program needs to be longer. The project needs to be longer. No longer is it 3 weeks, but we've got 4 weeks to do it. So what do you think happens to the triangle? The triangle starts to shift outwards, but we've got to change something. So if my time window changes, do you think budget and scope needs to change as well? Absolutely. So this is the project manager's triple constraint. If something is going to change, it's going to impact your budget and scope. So again, the 3 layers are time, budget, and scope. Time, budget, and scope. And this is a really critical element because we sometimes keep thinking, oh, I can just keep doing it as is. But the notion with great project management is we want to change it according to those 3 areas. So let's use another example. Does anyone have a project on the go right now that they're working on? Can we use another?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Marty, what's the project you're working on?
I'm launching a pilot program.
Okay, launching a pilot program. So what is the scope of that? And when I say what is the scope, what are the parameters around it? How long is it? How much time have you given yourself?
To create it or to actually do it.
So let's go into something really granular, because that's 2 components, right? To create is different than to run or do it. So let's talk about the creation project.
Okay.
Process. How long have you given that project?
My goal is to have it started by November 1st, but that's very close.
That's okay.
Probably won't
Let's
hit
use
that.
that, right? So it's October 26th by November 1st. So within a 5-day window, 6-day window, perhaps.
Yep.
Okay, so within a 6-day window, you want to have this project on the go. So what are the resources that are going to make that happen, Marty?
I have a VA who's working on it, and then I have to finish the outline. It's going to be 5 weeks of one video a day. So I have to learn how to make a video,
Yes.
and get the content done.
Fantastic. So as we're listening to Marty, what you can see on the screen is what's commonly known as the Gantt chart. And so for each thing that Marty's indicated, she said, I've got to make a video. I've got to learn how to do a video. I've got a VA. Each one of those separate micro tasks has its own time window, and it also has its own resourcing around it.
Right.
So with the benefit of project management is that it really starts to help us chunk down and break down different components as we move through this process towards a successful outcome. So without even going any further into all the ins and outs of what a Gantt chart is, here's my request for all of you. Just like Marty's laid out this 5 or 6 day project, I want you to think about something that you're working on right now. Maybe it's, I've got to do a blog post. So break down that project of, I've got to write a blog post. Okay, so what's the topic? You've got to identify the topic. Maybe you've got to do research. You've got to do a draft. You've got to do a graphic. Then you've got to do an edit. And then you schedule it and post it, right? So that sounds like, oh, I've just got to do a blog post. Actually, it's about 8 different things that you need to do within that time window. So for today, we're actually going to work on having you deconstruct a project. And I'd actually invite you to think about a project that is important and a project that, like Marty indicated, I'm glad you use this, Marty, because even in a short window, getting granular, breaking it down, chunking it down into components can help you get some quick traction. It can help you track it like we talked about yesterday. And it can also help you allocate those additional resources. So, back to triple constraint, right? We've got our time, our scope, and our budget. If Marty gets to Friday and determines, you know what, I need some extra days to complete this, she's going to give herself some more budget. She might pull in more hours for her VA. She might add on some other components. So that is the lay of the land, really, of what I wanted to share today around project management. A couple of things in project management. Of course, metrics matter, which is why we looked at this yesterday. I want to really get you starting to think about what will success look like on different elements. We are continuing to track here, but here's something that we get stuck with project management, and this comes directly from the 90-day guide. Is this really a project? So a couple of things you want to ask yourself. Can I complete this activity in one sitting? If so, if you can do it all at once, like in half an hour or in an hour, it's likely not a project. A project is bigger than a task. You're also going to want to ask yourself, can I do this activity without anyone else's help? Okay, so like we heard with Marty, Marty needs a VA to come in and help her. Even as a solopreneur, we may or may not activate other people's help, but it's probably meaning more time for ourselves. And then another good litmus test is this a project? Can I complete the activity in less than 4 hours? If it's 4 hours or more, it likely moves into the bucket of a project. We can apply the triple constraint. We can also start to break things down like that Gantt chart that you saw. And Gantt chart, again, are those just different lines. You also will recognize it's probably a project and not a task if it's been on your to-do list for more than a month. Okay, so if it's carrying forward, likely it's a project. And when we get into projects, we then need to prioritize. We may need to negotiate. So Marty may need to go to her VA and say, you know what, I'm going to need you for 5 hours in the next 5 days. I know you've got other things on your docket, other things on your list, but I really need you to allocate resources to this. And Marty's going to have to use her skills of influence in order to do that. So project management, super exciting area. I should have probably started off today's call by saying, this is where I cut my teeth as a leader, right? I was a program manager, and we often say programs are projects on steroids. So I would be managing these massive programs like post-disaster management, reconstructing an entire nation post-volcanic activity. So a country that I've supported in my former world of work had been decimated by a volcano. And literally on Christmas Eve day, years ago, a volcano erupted unexpectedly, wiped out the entire capital city. All of the banks, the hospitals, the jails, the morgues were all of a sudden under lava. Only 19 people died in this event out of thousands who were impacted. But what was amazing, even with that loss of life, was that this country was able to rebuild. Now, to manage a rehabilitation project like that, it's not just one person, it's teams of people. And this is why I'm so just passionate about, we need great project management skills, especially as solopreneurs. So today, your fieldwork is really going to be thinking about the metrics of your project, right? Like we talked about yesterday. We talked about how metrics, anchor data help us scale. To scale your work as a solopreneur, it's absolutely critical. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to breakout now, and you're going to have the opportunity to work with a project that you have on the go. I'm going to just go backwards because I want to give you this visual of the Gantt chart. With your partner, I want you to identify what are the different tasks in that project. So as we heard from Marty, she's got to launch a program by November 1st. What are the discrete tasks? And each one of those lines, those dashed lines, as you can see, really represents a task. For Marty, actually doing the design might take 4 days. Doing the graphics might take 1 hour, et cetera, et cetera. So I want you, with your partner, to start laying out what some of the core tasks are. And if you can, think about the time window. When are you going to get these done? How long is it going to take, et cetera? That will probably go beyond our 10 minutes. And you might wonder, well, where would this sort of looks familiar. I've sort of seen something like this. There's a lot of different project management softwares available online, some free and some at cost. Ones that we use in my business are Asana. I'll put these in chat. So as you can imagine, it's not just me in the business. It is a lot of people behind me being supported by lots of people. Today, we've got like Tiff on the line, right? Tiff's managing the whole Clubhouse element of this. Tiff hasn't been in Asana, but Honey, my VA, we connect all the time through Asana. I have a co-op student working with me right now. He's doing a lot of the financial records. So, I'll meet with him for 5 minutes today, but the rest of the time is all through Asana. One of the other ones that you might have heard about in like the last year is Monday.com. I don't use Monday.com, but I think it's a really great project management piece of software. And it has a free version and a paid version. And so anytime you're looking as a solopreneur to increase, your team and pass tasks on, these apps, these tools are what's going to help you communicate. Here's what's needed in this project. Even if it's as discrete as a 5-day project, we need to do blog posts, okay? We need to write it. We need to create graphics. We need to schedule it, et cetera, et cetera. So with that, let's break out and pick a project, right? I asked you at the start of this to think about a project that is going to help you move forward with your thinking. Let's see what the rooms are. There's going to be 2 rooms. And in room 1, we've got Oana and Samina. In room 2, we've got Cheryl, Marty, and Tiff. You've got 10 minutes to get a little bit more discreet on that one project, I might suggest that you even just brainstorm what are the discrete tasks that someone could do a day, an hour, or a quick window of time. So really start thinking about the big project, but then the discrete tasks within it. All right, any questions before we go to breakout for about 8 minutes? All righty, I'm going to open the rooms. Enjoy, and I'll see you back here in 8 minutes. All right, fantastic. All right, welcome back, everyone. Hope that was fun. It is now the top of the hour. So my hope is that you at least have one project that you could be taking some action on this week. You've got some additional tools. Tomorrow and the next day, we're going to be looking at how do you create focus and attention. So I hope that you will continue to use this project as you move forward. Any quick comment before we go to wrap up and let you head on your day? Who got clarity on that? Yeah, Cheryl, go ahead.
Yeah, just a question. Do you know when your webinar is going to be up for the hybrid work quiz?
Not yet. I've got to go set that. I should have a date though. You'll precipitate me to have a date, Cheryl.
Okay.
So do you have a time of day that works well? Is there a
Yeah.
specific time of day that you have space? Because you know my calendar, it's always all over the map. I'm thinking a lunchtime, probably like a 12 to 1.
Yeah, I think a lunchtime that sounds, yeah. I think
Yeah.
when people might be available to do it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I will keep you posted. I'll let you know tomorrow. And that was actually on my list. So thank you for moving that along. And with that, we will try Clubhouse. It seems like there's a global outage on Clubhouse. So Tiff, thank you for joining us here. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Bye.
Bye. My Zoom won't let me close the room. So there we go. Have a good one. Thanks, Tiff. I'll see you tomorrow.